Welcome to this special explainer. Let's just jump right in with a quick question. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Gautam Adani, and Richard Branson. Do you know what they all have in common? I mean, sure, yeah, they're some of the richest people on the planet, totally dominating the modern world. Heck, billionaire Richard Branson even went up to space in his own spacecraft. But there's actually another huge thing they share. Every single one of them successfully escaped the exact same trap that the average student today is, well, proudly and willingly walking right into. It's wild, right? Despite having endless information at our fingertips, our perception of reality has been so completely warped that we're happily stepping into this snare. Let's really look at what this trap actually looks like. So on one hand, you have the expectation. You're in college, you're grinding out assignments on time, maintaining that perfect 90% attendance, and playing totally by the rules. All with the hope that after graduation, you'll land this amazing job, buy a big house for your parents, get a nice car, and just be happy. But what's the actual reality? You started prepping when you were, 18? Now you're 30. What did you actually do for the last 12 years? You just kept studying, kept collecting degrees, post-graduation, certifications, the whole shebang, but then you realize there are no jobs. You face endless interview rejections. People start making fun of you, and eventually you just lock yourself in your room praying for literally any job to come your way. Finally, out of sheer desperation, you take whatever you can get. But the salary? It's shockingly low. You definitely can't save up to buy a house, so you take out a massive home loan. Then, societal pressure kicks in, and boom, you've got a car loan too. Without even realizing it, you've completely boxed yourself in. Now, you're living in constant fear of layoffs, because if you lose that job, how on earth are you going to pay the EMIs and the kids' school fees? You end up burying your true dreams just to survive, turning into a living robot. You probably think you're just unlucky, but actually, the truth is something else entirely. Section 1. The Matrix Revealed. Origins of the System. You see, the education system you've been blindly following since childhood was literally engineered from the ground up to turn you into an obedient factory worker. To really understand this trap, we have to flip back the pages of history, from the Industrial Revolution to the defeat of Prussia, all the way to colonial policies. The year is 1806. A massive war breaks out between Napoleon's army and Prussia. And against all odds, Prussia, which had one of the best armies in the world, loses. The Prussian leaders were absolutely baffled. After a lot of digging, they realized that their army was strong, sure, but during the battle, the soldiers were using their own brains instead of blindly following their superiors' orders. Napoleon's army, on the other hand, they just did exactly what they were told. The result? Prussia lost half its territory. So the Prussian leaders had to make absolutely sure this never happened again. Their solution? Build a system where people's brains simply aren't capable of independent thought. And just like that, the Prussian education system was born. It was an 8-year compulsory education program for kids aged 5 to 13. Its sole, absolute purpose was to transform the next generation into deeply obedient individuals who would follow their superiors' orders without asking a single question. Right around this exact same time, the Industrial Revolution was hitting its peak. Machines were everywhere, but factory owners faced a massive problem: a huge labor shortage. People were actually pretty happy farming and running their own small, independent businesses. Why would they want to go become a laborer in someone else's factory? Well, the Prussian education system provided the absolute perfect blueprint to solve this. Countries all over the world adopted this model to systematically kill youth creativity and turn out mindless laborers for their factories. By 1835, Lord Macaulay introduced the English Education Act in India, which was based entirely on this Prussian model. Let's be clear, the colonizers weren't trying to empower the local population. Their goal was strictly to produce obedient clerks and soldiers who would serve their rulers. This brainwashing was so incredibly effective that entire generations grew up genuinely believing that serving the system was their noble duty. Section 2. The harsh modern reality. Decades later, we're still seeing parents proudly trading their child's fresh, natural creativity for an incredibly outdated syllabus and a little bit of social status. Here is the ultimate reality check. This current system was never, ever built to make you self-dependent, and it definitely wasn't built to make you a millionaire. Think about it. If you're self-dependent, you ask questions, you fight injustice. The system doesn't want that. It just wants affordable, deeply obedient workers who will quietly grind day and night for that end-of-the-month paycheck. And today, this 200-year-old system is completely and utterly failing our youth.
The modern statistics are just shocking. We are looking at a reality where 65% of youth in India are completely jobless. 42% of graduates under the age of 25 are unemployed. Millions of people are dumping a quarter of their lives and massive amounts of money into a machine that ultimately just spits them out completely empty-handed.
And let's look at the economic disparity here. Even if you do everything right and manage to snag a job, what's your actual compensation for all those years of grueling hard work? When you compare the average salary of a highly educated Indian engineer to, say, an American truck driver who can easily pull in 10 to 16 lakhs a month, it really highlights just how economically absurd our obsession with degree chasing has become. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but if I get into a top-tier institute, my life is totally set, right? Actually, no. That's a huge misconception today. Up to 40% of students are remaining unplaced even at premier campuses like IIT Bombay, Delhi, and Kanpur. Playing by the rules perfectly and getting into a top engineering college no longer guarantees you a secure job or a stable future. Those old promises, they're completely broken. Section 3. Breaking the cycle. So what on earth do we do about this? How do we actually escape? Well, here are some actionable steps you can start taking right now. First, we absolutely have to stop obsessing over mark sheets. A piece of paper does not dictate your potential. Second, intensely focus on real-world skills. The modern world desperately needs skilled problem solvers, not just more degree holders. Third, step outside the classroom and learn online from real, active practitioners, rather than just theorists. And finally, encourage incredibly diverse exploration. The world is so much bigger than just physics, chemistry, and math. Think about this for a second. Our society is completely fine with students taking 1 or even 2 stressful gap years just to prep for massive entrance exams like JEE or NEET. But have you ever seriously considered taking a gap year just to explore your real passions, to figure out what you genuinely love doing? We have to start giving ourselves the permission to actually discover our true interests and our real potential. I want to end this explainer by leaving you with a pretty provocative question. You basically have 2 choices right now. Are you going to stay in this 200-year-old trap and live an average life dictated by the constant fear of layoffs and debt? Or are you going to forge your own path, acquire real-world skills, and actually achieve your dreams? The decision is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis. If this sparked something in you, share this message so we can help others wake up from the great education trap. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.